Okay, good morning. We're going to get started. Welcome to the 2025 annual business meeting of Crow Wing Power. My name is Jenna Anderson, and yep, I'm the one that forgot the coffee, but we do have some caribou now, so you can blame me. I take full responsibility. I'm proud to serve as the public relations manager here at the cooperative. And before we begin, just a quick reminder, polls do close in 10 minutes. So if you brought your ballot with and got distracted by the great food and checking out trees or people security or getting your picture taken, now's the time to drop off your ballot box located at the front of the building. Oh, my clicker's not working. There we go. As I kick things off, I just want to start with a heartfelt thank you. Thank you for being here today. You're not just attending a meeting, you're taking part in what makes the cooperative model so special. You're a member owner of Crow Wing Power, and your presence today is a living example of one of the 7 cooperative principles, democratic member control. We are guided by these principles every day, and they are what sets us apart, and they are what make this organization truly yours. Now I'd like to take some time or a moment to share how we give back to the communities we serve thanks to your support. Let's begin with Operation Roundup. This program began in 1996 and reflects the cooperative commitment to community. Members voluntarily round up their electric bills to the nearest dollar, typically around $6 per year. This small change adds up. In 2024 alone, we gave back $226 to local organizations, and we're on pace to give out our $5 millionth soon. That's more than 30,000 members participated. It's your generosity that drives this incredible impact. We also support our youth through scholarships funded by unclaimed capital credits. In 2024, we awarded more than $90,000 in scholarships to member dependents. 57 high school seniors in 11 school districts in our service territory, and 1 non-traditional student received a $1,500 scholarship. 10,000 of these dollars are directed to technical colleges and for students entering the line worker field. That's real dollars going to real students right here in our communities. And just like today, we always want our members to feel appreciated and connected. This year marks our 3rd annual Celebrate You at the Zoo event in partnership with our member Safari North Wildlife Park. It's a free admission weekend for members and their families, and one of our favorite ways to say thank you. In the past, we've celebrated Cooperative Month with pancake breakfasts. We just wrapped up a new Coffee with a Co-op in several communities, and we welcome members into our headquarters each December for donuts, coffee, and cider. Our line workers have participated in local events, giving bucket truck rides, a fan favorite for kids, and even some patient line worker moms. One little girl even told us she ate her broccoli all year long to grow big and strong enough to ride in a bucket truck. Beyond fun events, we're present in schools and business communities, hosting career days and safety demos, and supporting events like Chambers Eggs and Issues. We believe these connections don't just strengthen the co-op, they strengthen the entire community. Check out the Save the Dates on your tables to find where you can connect with us this summer. As a member owner, you also participate in the democratic process by voting for directors who lead this cooperative. We partner with Survey and Ballot Systems out of Eden Prairie to manage our election process. They're here today to count final votes, and the results will be shared prior to the conclusion of the meeting. This year's ballot included the following candidates: District 1B, Byron Bacon of Reamer and Giles Radke of Emily. District 2A, Mark Ronai of Pequot Lakes. District 3 at large, Sherry Habigors of Crosby and Paul Coring of Brainerd. In addition to the candidate elections, you may have voted on a proposal to restate 2 bylaw sections. First, updating the special member meetings, and second, requiring incumbent board members to complete a cooperative director education program before re-election. And now I'd like to recognize the board of directors. Directors, please stand when your name is called, and please hold applause until the end. Representing District 1A, John Lubke. District 1B and Vice President Giles Radke. District 1 at large and Secretary Brian McCulloch. District 2A and President Mark Ronai. District 2B Gert Rogenkamp. District 2 at large and Treasurer Luann Nelson. District 3A, Dwight Teesey. District 3B, Dave Albers. District 3 at large, Paul Coring. Please join me in a round of applause for their leadership and service. At this time, I'd like to invite Brian McCulloch to the stage to give our invocation. Yep.
Well, welcome everyone. It's good to see everybody. This is kind of like church a little bit here, where everybody's kind of sitting in the back, and the pastor says, "Well, okay, can you all move to the front?" But I'm not going to have you do that. But the whole idea of us sitting at tables was so you guys could sit with us. So maybe we scare you. I don't know. But maybe next year I'll suggest we're in the back and you're in the front. But I'm glad you're all here. So I just like to thank everybody that's participated in this get-together here today. Pulling back the annual meeting, we've been in a big transition the last few years, and we've kind of incorporated the business part into the food to try to get more of you to come. I know it hasn't been very convenient the last number of years, but there's lots of new changes happening within the cooperative. We've got lots of new board people with new great ideas, and there's a real transition here at Crow Wing Power. And I just want to give a thanks to a group of people, and some think this group of members that were concerned about things here at Crow Wing Power was damaging to this company, but I believe that this group of people have brought it here, and they had a name for their group, and actually my wife gave the name. It was called the Accountability Group. So we were very transparent. Anybody could be part of it, but there was lots of concerns, and to this day, I think Tim and his wife are with us here today, a great new positive change. And I thank this group. There's several of them here I see today. You know who you are, and I do appreciate them because they called me and said we need to do something. So, but anyway, I'd like to thank all the employees that put this production on here. I was just aware of the Flag Day yesterday as I worked for Anderson Brothers. I was up at Park Rapids driving to listen to a radio station, and I'm like, oh, wow, yeah, this is Flag Day today. So I called Tim and I said, well, you doing anything with the flag? And he said, yeah, we got the flag going up outside and we got the flag inside and stuff. And as I'm driving down from 50 Lakes, I see lots of people with their flags out. And, that was done in 1777, during the war with the Brits. And they want to recognize the stars and the stripes. And, there's lots of animosity toward our country. And, we've got an enemy within us that wants to take our freedoms away, which that flag was put together, stars and stripes, for those men and women that sacrificed their lives for this country and brought us to where we are today. And our education system needs to be different. I grew up in a post-World War II era. When we talked about communism and stuff freely, Washington School, I literally got to show the films and stuff of what Hitler did and stuff. And we've come a whole different direction. And we've got countries that are within this country that are enemies. And yesterday on Christian radio, I heard that they've tracked a lot of this supposedly protests that are going all over the country connected to the CCP, which is the Chinese Communist Party. So we've got a lot of enemies. There's wars going on in Ukraine, Russia, Israel, and Iran, and we're very volatile right now. But we got a lot of men and women are trained to protect us, and we need to look to them. And we thank you. We probably got lots of veterans out here, and I thank each one of you for your service, whether you're in law enforcement or we're in the military or whatever. Lots of sacrifices for lives and to get us to where we are. But let's just take a time to honor our God, and in a short prayer here. If you'd like to bow, I'll give a blessing. Heavenly Father, we just come to you, God. We just acknowledge our need for you, Lord, in not only our own country, but the world about, as we have so much turmoil going on. And God, we just, you say not to fear, but to pray. And you said that we're more than two are gathered, you are with us. And we just want to acknowledge that these things, these fires may be put out, God. For we're in a vulnerable stage. And even with our grid system, God, it's very vulnerable that it can be taken out very easily with even just a rifle. And it's not simple to get a transformer, a couple of years to get a transformer. So if we do have enemies within, that could be, very volatile. God, we just ask that you be with those that are in place, this NERC that we have, that are supposed to be looking for our best interest, God. And equally, I just pray for the next few years as we look at great funds to be needed for new infrastructure. We're realizing our infrastructure is getting old, and we need to, whether it's the building or our cables in the ground and above, that it's going to be a very costly situation. And help us as a board to decide what we need to do there fiscally, God. We just thank you that this group was gathered here today, that we could have fellowship amongst us as friends and family. And there are those out there that possibly have situations going on in their family, whether it's a health issue or a financial issue, each heart. And we just ask that you'll be within each family out there that has a situation going on. We think of Jenna and her son as he's had this accident. We just pray for him, God. And the others, there's been losses and stuff, and we just ask that you'll comfort their heart. Lord, we just ask that you'll be within this business meeting and help us to have a informational time and just fellowship with one another. We ask you this, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, in Jesus Christ's name, amen.
And now I invite Luann Nelson to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And with that, I now turn the meeting over to our board president, Mark Conway, to begin the business portion of today's meeting.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for showing up today. It's critical for the co-op to be able to conduct our business in the appropriate and legal fashion. We have to have a quorum, and we have established that we do have a quorum here today, so that this is a legal meeting, that the elections can be held and can be certified, because we do have the right number of people here. And I also appreciate all the staff who shows up today. You've had a lot of chance to have conversation with our team. Before I do anything else, I'd like to give a round of applause to our team, because they are outstanding. With our coffee oversight this morning, it just happens. I ran to the coffee shop, picked up some coffee, and two things happened to me in the coffee shop this morning, just about half an hour ago. So one was a gentleman, he had a hat on and said, "Be kind." Well, that's a good way to live. So I said, "I like your hat." And he turns to me and goes, I still have my badge on. I was the nerd in the coffee shop with his badge on. And he said, "I like your power." So I said, "Well, thank you very much." That was nice. The other thing that happened to me was, it must be the secret orientation that our team has when they start work for us, and the motto that we live by, because behind the coffee shop line, there was a sign on the wall, and it said, "Work hard and be kind to others." well, you know, or be nice to others. I think that is really, that epitomizes what our team does at the co-op. They work hard and they are nice to others. We hear it over and over again. When people come out, you know, it's not always the best situation when there's a tree down across your property line and your freezer is no longer working and you can't get your air conditioning on, and you know then how important power is. And our team does their best to get there, you know, middle of the night, in the middle of a storm, whatever it is, and other people show up at the co-op office to support them and pack their lunches and get them out the door and keep their communications going. So I've been on the board for 3 years, and I have been the president for 2 years, and I have come to a whole nother level of appreciation for the work that goes on. I mean, when you flip that switch, it is nothing short of a miracle that your lights come on. I mean, you really know that once the further you get into the co-op world. So anyway, that's that. So we've established our quorum. Next order of business is the minutes of the June 15th, 2024 Crow Wing Power Annual Meeting have been distributed. Are there any corrections? If there are no corrections, the minutes will stand as approved, as distributed. So without any corrections, they will be deemed to be approved. Thank you. The 2024 financial report has been audited and found to be in accordance with recognized accounting standards, and it is on file at the co-op office. And this is a standard procedure every year that we have a review of our financial statements, and we have loans with various enterprise, co-op-oriented enterprises, and there's a strict amount of regulations we need to meet in the way that we account for our revenues and our expenses, the way that we talk about our debt, the way we talk about our assets. And so we have been found to be in compliance with all of those generally accepted accounting practices in the co-op world. Let's see here. A couple points we're just going to go through quickly. Those of you who know me well, I should really have someone who's dedicated to giving me the cut sign, because Jenna, that's right, Jenna has been deputized to get me off the stage. So we'll get started. Co-op's been around a long time, but there's some new stuff right now. Obviously, we have a new leader. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But we have chosen to, kind of in keeping with best practice, we are going to have a new audit firm. So we are soliciting proposals to have a new audit firm. The idea there is we've had the same people doing it for a long time. They're professionals. They're good. There's nothing wrong with what they've been doing. But best practice says you need to change it. You need to change that up. People get comfortable. It's just what happens in the business world. So best practice says we're past time to make that change, and so we're going to make that change. In much the same fashion, we are soliciting proposals for a new legal team, and this is in no way, shape, or form an indictment of any kind on the advice we've been getting, because frankly, it's been great. Ryan is here, the person who's been our legal counsel. He's done an amazing job for us, but again, we feel that best practice says we need to make a change, and this is something that, because it's been a number of years, we are going through the proposal process, and Ryan and his firm have graciously agreed to help us with this transition every bit of the way, so that all files are smoothly transitioned, and the work is done. The co-op's interests are protected, and away we go. So again, we want to thank Ryan and his team for all the great service they've given us. Something else that's new, we are embarking on we've retained some professional services to enter into a strategic plan. As we have grown and as we have changed, I mean, it wasn't that long ago probably that we were at 45,000 meters and we're at 60,000 meters out there. That's a big deal. We are continuing to grow. We're blessed to be in an environment where we get to infill, which means we get to add more meters, we get to add more members, we get to add more business without stretching huge amounts of line. So that is that's a very good thing for us. But we need to go forward now with something that says we're going to have a plan. We're going to take a 5-year and longer look at what facilities do we need. I mean, you know, we're in the same buildings that we've been in for a long time, and they're inadequate. What that means exactly, we don't know because we don't have our plan done yet. But we will keep you posted every step of the way. And we are also trying to be extremely inclusive of our employees and stakeholders in this long-range plan. So more on that at a later date, but just to let you know that we are committed to embarking on that process. And Tim has been our leader in saying we got to get going on this. Also, we have, you know, for the nuts and bolts of it, we have entered into a new contract for our power supply. So that Basin is basically our all-needs power supply provider. If any of you get the chance to go out to Basin on the bus trip, I know you're thinking, I'm going to go across North Dakota, and I'm going to go drive on a bus into a mine, and then I get to tour a power plant. You will come back with an appreciation. Like I said earlier, it is an absolute miracle that when you flip that switch, power comes on, because the effort that is required, the engineering, the planning, the manpower, everything else that's required, the technology that's required for your light bulb to come on, you will never feel the same way about electricity if you take that tour. I guarantee it. The next update is with cooperative mineral resources. It's, you know, obviously one of our favorite topics. You know, obviously, this is a project that we should have never probably entered into. That's hindsight is 2020. If we could rewind history and say, let's say no, just say no, we would just say no. However, that is not the hand that we have been dealt. Decisions were made with the best of intentions and with the best information at the time, and we said yes in terms of our wholly owned subsidiary. They said, yes, we're going to do this. And so I have no optimism whatsoever that the co-op will ever see a nickel out of this. That's just the way it is. You know, we are limiting and stop. You know, we haven't spent any money on it for some time other than some legal fees. We are trying to unwind our participation in it, you know, to whatever degree that means. And there's more unknowns than knowns at this point in time, but I would say, again, my own personal opinion is that, that there should be no expectation of a return on our investment in there unless some things radically change. So it's bad news. Thought I would. We were trying to get this cleaned up before Tim arrived, and we're trying to basically keep Tim apprised and involved. But the board is taking the responsibility for making this the best out of this that we can, and so that's where we are. There's too much to go into it because there's no point in going into it any further than that. To just say, you know, we are very pessimistic about the future as it relates to recouping any investment. It's bad news. We can take some questions about it during our question and answer time. We're not ducking it. I'll stay here as long as someone wants to ask me a question at the end of this about that or anything else. We have a policy review, and do we have a slide on that? Okay. We're doing our policy reviews, but we had a member who called me up one day and said, you know what, I think you need a policy, or you need a bylaw, or you need some safeguards about a specific item. And we had never actually thought about it before. And this is where the co-op model really works. What we want is we want you, when you think about something, when you say, hey, you know, I didn't like what happened 17 years ago or 6 years ago, or you know, I've heard about this at another co-op, I've heard about this someplace else. Tell us about it. You know, it's great to tell your neighbor, it's better to tell us so that we can do. So we are going to propose a policy immediately on this matter, and then next year there'll be a bylaw. Most likely there'll be a bylaw revision dealing with a suggestion made by a co-op member. So there's not, there's 60,000, meters and 45,000 members, and there's a small amount of that in here, but you guys, you're the ones who've shown up, you're the ones who are involved, you're the ones who make a difference. The world is ruled by those who show up. So you showed up, we need you to show up a little more. We need to let us know what you're thinking, or if you have a suggestion about something that we can do better. So I'm putting the onus on you as the members to let us know what you're thinking. Gosh, Jenna, am I done already? I was just getting warmed up. So, all right. It is my extreme pleasure to introduce Tim Thompson, our new CEO. We went through a rigorous process to find and recruit, and recruiting is part of it. Saying, we want you to come here. We have a magnificent co-op. We have great members. We have a great team. We got a good business model. And so we hired a search firm, we went through multiple levels of interviews, it was an intensive process, and we got the best guy in the state, there's no doubt about it. So Tim has a ton of experience, he's going to tell you a little bit about his background. I'm just going to tell you, I've met him, I've met his wife. I always look at that and say, is this guy a good salesman? Was he able to marry up as far as he possibly could? And yes, he closed that deal. So, that's always something. So Tim, good job on the sales on that one. And so welcome Tim. He's going to be our leader going forward. Couldn't be happier that that's the case. Tim.
Thank you. All right. Looking for my Be Kind hat up here, if I can find it. Thank you, Board President Mark Ronai, for that introduction. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for participating in your annual meeting. This annual meeting is such an important part of your electric cooperative. It's a great opportunity for members to come together at the grassroots level, just like the pioneering founders of this cooperative did almost 90 years ago, to form this cooperative because no one else was willing to build those power lines out into the rural areas to serve the people. It's also an opportunity for you to visit with your board of directors and the wonderful employees who are here today. It's also an opportunity for you to exercise your right to vote on important cooperative business matters like board member elections and bylaw amendments. Thank you all for being an engaged member of your cooperative. Well, as your new CEO, I am beyond grateful for the opportunity to be here, to serve you, your board of directors, and the wonderful employees of this cooperative. You are the owners of this cooperative, and I am the servant. I would like to share a little bit about my background, including my why, my work experience, and my servant leadership style. First, my why. I love being a part of an electric cooperative. As a kid, growing up on my great-grandparents' farm, I heard firsthand from my great-grandmother that incredible story about what it meant to her on that day in 1939 when the REA brought electricity to her farm and how local people came together to make it happen against all odds. It changed everything for the better. Her story and what the pioneers of electric cooperatives did inspires and motivates me to this day. My work experience. I started washing trucks at my hometown cooperative in high school and was then hired as a summer helper on a pole-changing crew during college. I enjoyed the hard work and began to experience that special relationship that develops between the employee and the member of the cooperative. Over the years, I worked my way up through the accounting, finance, and member services area of the cooperative and eventually into management. I've managed 2 other electric cooperatives here in Minnesota. First one was Freeborn Maurer Electric Cooperative in Albert Lea. I was there for 10 years. And I was also the CEO at Lake Regional Electric Cooperative for the last 17 years before coming to Crow Wing Power. Having worked my way up through the electric cooperative, it's been natural for me to develop a servant leadership style. My leadership style is to come to work every day and try to serve others and to make things better for people. I want to bring my knowledge, skill, and ability to Crow Wing Power to serve you, our board of directors, and our employees to become the best version of ourselves to serve you. I simply want to give back to the beautiful electric cooperative model that means so much to me. Well, enough about me. Let's talk about us. I believe this is an exciting new era for us. There have been a lot of changes at Crow Wing Power, as Board President Rana has discussed. There have been new board members elected. The board has hired a new auditor. The board is in the process of hiring a new attorney. And I am the new CEO. Let's get back to the roots of this electric cooperative by bringing more people back into what I call the beauty of the electric cooperative through open communication and increased member engagement. Think about this beauty of the electric cooperative. Electricity powers our lives. Electricity is the lifeblood of our society. Nothing works very well today without electricity. And the beauty is you own this electric cooperative that provides such a valuable service to you. What other companies do we own that provide such an important service like electricity? You own a $264 million electric cooperative that powers our lives. You have a say in who governs your cooperative. You receive capital credits from your cooperative. You attend an annual meeting. And you can call the CEO's cell phone, and I will joyfully answer your call. Let's champion and celebrate this beautiful electric cooperative model that our founders created as they pulled themselves up by the bootstraps out of darkness and created their own electric cooperative because no one else was willing to bring electricity to the rural areas where you and I live today. Let's move forward together and build the electric cooperative of the future that works for us. So let's talk about our future. Let's talk about what a vision for our future can look like. Let's look forward in a positive way. My vision for the future and my motivation to serve you is driven by you, the members, through member engagement. At Crow Wing Power, we want to have a high level of member engagement. Member engagement creates a strong, member-driven cooperative. This annual meeting is a great example of member engagement. Let's make it bigger and better. This year, for the first time, we added a virtual option so members can join us online. In the future, let's find additional ways to increase member attendance at this meeting. We recently held 6 Coffee with the Co-op meetings across our large service territory, as shown on the slide. We invited members to join us at local coffee shops, to enjoy a cup of coffee, to engage and talk about anything on the members' minds. What a great experience it was for me, an opportunity to connect with members across our service territory. We want to hear from you. This week, we sent out a member survey to 400 randomly selected members. In addition, for those of you here today, you can participate in the survey by using the QR code on the screen or the QR code on the paper on your table. We are asking for your input and feedback. Your feedback will be a direct source of information for your Board of Directors strategic planning session in July. Your feedback is something we take very seriously. We thank you in advance for your participation in this member survey. Please join us on September 20th or the 21st, our member appreciation event called Celebrate You at the Safari North Zoo. Bring your family, have a fun time, and let's just appreciate one another. In addition to being out in the community, I want to be accessible to you. At Crow Wing Power, you can call us and get a real person, including the CEO. My cell number's on the screen. It's 218-205-2405. Please give me a call sometime. I would love to hear from you. We welcome your ideas and member engagement. Your board of directors is having a strategic planning session on July 29th and the 30th. This planning process will include the member feedback from the member survey as well as input from employees to create a roadmap for our future. Some of the key components of the plan will include defining our vision, mission, strategic imperatives, values, and cooperative principles. In our strategic planning, we will be focusing on important topics like our financial plan, our 10-year financial forecast that helps us model our future revenues, costs, equity, debt, and retail rates. We are also doing a rate study that will be completed later this year to ensure that our rates are fair and equitable across the membership. In this planning session, we will be focusing on you and talking about new ways to add value to your membership. I look forward to reporting to you on these topics in the future. Well, how is your cooperative performing for you? Let's start with what members pay for electricity. This slide shows how Crow Wing Power's rates compare to a peer group of 13 electric cooperatives across the state. Crow Wing Power is the third lowest among the peer group. What you and I pay for electricity as members of this co-op is 12% below the average of our peer group of electric cooperatives. Our largest cost is our wholesale cost of power, which is 68% of our total cost. Basin Electric Cooperative is our wholesale power provider. We are feeling good about our migration to Basin for our wholesale supply of electricity. Our wholesale power cost from Basin is meeting our expectations. Basin will be building new power plants to meet the growing demand for electricity. New power plants are expensive and will cause our wholesale power cost to increase in the future. We expect some increase from Basin next year. Basin's generation mix continues to evolve. As the slide shows, back in the year 2000, 85% of Basin's generation capacity came from coal. In 2024, 40% of the generating capacity came from coal and 33% from wind. Basin Electric was recently awarded $638 million in New Era funds from the United States Department of Agriculture. These dollars will be used for additional renewable energy and to enhance existing cooperative-owned renewable assets. General inflation for material is also impacting our costs and rates. This slide shows the increasing cost of the material we use as an electric utility. Things like transformers, cable, wire have nearly doubled since the year 2020. A construction work plan back in 2020 that included $10 million worth of material then now costs $14.8 million, nearly a 50% increase in cost. Well, how is inflation affecting Crow Wing Power? This slide shows how inflation has impacted the cost to build 1 mile of power line. The poles, wire, transformers, cross arms, bucket trucks, if you can get them delivered these days, have all increased in cost. A mile of power line in 2020 would have cost $57,000 to build. Today, it costs $84,000. The cost of electricity will go up in the future, which is an industry-wide trend. We will continue to focus on keeping your rates as low as possible and being good stewards of your dollars. In today's world, I like to say reliability is king. Especially in our cold climate, reliability is extremely important. We are fortunate to have a good, reliable electric distribution grid, the poles and wires that serve you. This slide shows how outage times for Crow Wing Power members compare to outage times of all electric cooperatives in the United States and all co-ops here in Minnesota. As you can see, our outage time of 55 minutes per member per year on the yellow line is well below the United States average of 100 minutes of outage time, shown in red, and slightly below the state average of 57 minutes of outage time, shown in black. The backbone of our local distribution grid is solid. Our pole testing program uses state-of-the-art technology. Our right-of-way tree clearing program is in good shape. And when we do have outages, our employees do a great job restoring the power safely from our 3 service locations, and our communications team does a great job of keeping you informed during power outages. Your board of directors recently approved a new 4-year construction work plan. This $49 million work plan is the largest work plan in our history to continue modernizing our grid, to improve your reliability, and to meet the growing demand for electricity. Your cooperative is in a strong financial position. As your board of directors strives to keep your rates low and reliability high, they have to balance those decisions with our financial strength. I am pleased to report that 2024 was a solid year financially for your cooperative, with total margins of $7.9 million, and through April of 2025, we are ahead of our financial plan with a year-to-date total margin of $3.6 million. In 2024, we invested $10 million back into our local distribution grid, including new substation, pole changeouts, overhead to underground conversions to serve you better, and we borrowed $2 million to help pay for those long-term assets. With 2024 being a good year financially and with a strong equity position and balance sheet, your board of directors once again approved a capital credit retirement in 2024 of $2 million. That's the beauty of the electric cooperative, local board members making the decision to pay capital credits back to you. We retired capital credits back to members who were on our lines in 2008 and 2009, putting us on a 15-year capital credit rotation. Our rotation of 15 years compares very favorably to other Minnesota cooperatives who average about a 20-year capital credit rotation. Crow Wing Power has now returned over $57 million back to the membership in capital credits. Over the past 10 years, if you look at the top of the shaded area on this slide, the cooperative has added $60 million in total utility plant, new poles, wire, cable, transformers, which shows our dedication to providing reliable and safe electricity. This has been funded in part through long-term debt, which has increased about $26 million over the same 10 years as shown on the yellow line, and through your investment back into the system. During this 10-year period, equity increased $26 million as shown on the blue line on the slide, and during this same 10-year period, the co-op paid back $24 million to members in capital credits. Save the best for last. One of the things that was very clear to me 108 days ago when I showed up on a Friday to begin my career at Crow Wing Power was the pride that our employees take in their job and in their cooperative. This slide shows the number of employees we have compared to how many consumers we serve. For every one employee at Crow Wing Power, we serve 514 consumers. Compared to other Minnesota electric cooperatives, for every one employee, they serve 333 consumers. To me, this speaks volumes about the type of people in our organization, how dedicated, hardworking, and committed to serving you they are. From our front office employees who greet you as you enter the co-op or take your call with a smile in their voice, to the lineman who rolls out of bed in the middle of the night on a cold Minnesota January night for a power outage to restore your power in the middle of the night so when you and I wake up in the morning, we can hit that switch and we have power. To the team of employees here today who did such a good job of organizing, planning, putting this event together for us on a Saturday morning, thank you all so much. Would you join me in giving our employees a round of applause? All right. I love this picture. I hope you enjoyed the large flag that our team put up out there in the parking lot as you came in this morning. Yeah, we just took this picture a couple weeks ago at the co-op. I just love it. The two big bucket trucks, the big flag, and the board of directors and employees there all together. So yeah, in conclusion, as we move forward together, I hope that you feel your cooperative is committed to serving you. If there is ever a time when you don't feel that way, please let us know. We are here to serve you. And as always for me, I want to be the last person out of this building today. I'm going to hang out down here afterwards. I tried to greet everybody as you came in. Probably missed some, but I'm going to hang around down here. Please come up and say hi. If you have any questions for me, love to get to know you, love to talk to you. That'd be great. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Mark and Tim. So now I'd like to invite Adam Rogers to present the 2025 election results. Adam is a business system analyst with Survey and Ballot Systems, he has personally supported on-site elections and IT functions for cooperatives like Crow Wing Power for the past 6 years. Survey and Ballot Systems is an independent election services provider. They partner with over 300 cooperatives around the country and bring 35 years of experience ensuring secure, transparent, and trustworthy elections.
Thank you. The results for the District 1B office, which serves a 3-year term, for Giles Radke, 3,067 votes, Byron Bacon, 1,374 votes. The District 2A office, which serves a 3-year term, Mark Rani, with 4,014 votes. The District 3 at-large office, which will serve a 3-year term, Paul Coring with 2,545 votes, Sherry Habigorst with 1,913 votes. The proposed restated bylaws of the Crow Wing Cooperative Power and Light Company in favor has 3,646 votes and against 608. Thank you.
Great. At this time, I'd like Mark and Tim to rejoin me here as we begin the question and answer portion of the business meeting. Members, you may come to the front at the microphone to ask questions. We ask that you be respectful, ask one question at a time, allow for response time before you ask a second.
All right, we've got 2 microphones just waiting for some questions, so come on up.
Hello, testing. David Winkleman here from Winkleman Solar. I'm wondering about the net metering rules. There's some discussion statewide about net metering. And what are your plans to do with net metering in the future?
I'll just say one thing. We have a project right now that there's 2 installations that are the oversized systems that we're doing a little research on what the net effect is. As the chairman of the board of directors, we have to develop a system that's fair to all members of the co-op and that doesn't require an excessive subsidy by the other members of the co-op. So as we can work that out, and part of our strategic plan will be to come up with what is our approach to solar going forward and net metering. Go ahead.
Yeah, if I could just add a little bit to that, please. Net metering in Minnesota, it's we've had some net metering laws in our state for decades, and it seems like each year it's a topic that comes up in the legislature. But as far as what we're doing right now, and maybe somebody can give me an exact number, but our team at Crow Wing does a really good job of working with members, individual members, who want to do small solar on their rooftop or in their property, to work with them through the interconnection process and all of that. So we try to do our best to work with the individual member to do that. As Mark mentioned, the concern, if I could use that word, with the current net metering law in Minnesota is we have to pay that average retail rate for the excess. And that's one of our higher sources of electricity. And so that's really what's been kind of the core issue over the years, is kind of that fairness issue across the membership and subsidization across the membership. I don't believe there was any change to the law, much change to the law this year that's of significance. It's probably going to continue to be talked about, but we want to continue to work with our members who are interested in solar and in that interconnection process, so you can produce some of your own power if that's what you choose to do. Does that answer your question?
Thank you.
Okay. Yep.
Other questions?
Hello, Tim Quincer. I've been a member since '99. And as some of you know, I've also been a member of the accountability group that was mentioned by Brian earlier. Usually at these meetings, I stand up with a lot of questions and a number of concerns, and I kind of want to flip the script, and I'm really happy to do that here today. I'm really glad to see the changes in the co-op. I know our group all feels the same way. We've seen a lot of positive change. I think things started when the board started to take control over decisions and diving into some of the work that had been ceded to the CEO, previous CEO, and now I think that's been all turned around, and the board's well aware of all the issues that they were handed by the previous administration and are working to resolve them, so I thank you for that. Really happy to see restoration of transparency, switching auditors and so on. Not that the recent folks helping with that weren't doing a good job, as you mentioned, but I think with all the problems in the past with some of those entities being involved and not catching and pointing out that the co-op has problems, I think it's good to turn the page on those. Really happy with Tim. I don't know if I told you this, Tim. You reached out to me almost before you started, I think, and we had a good conversation there. But I had talked to your old co-op there on some transparency issues and found the folks there to be really helpful and pointing out some of the things you've already implemented here as you've moved here. So your previous job, I could see the difference in that co-op, and I'm glad to see you're with us here. So the mine issue, I guess, I realize, I don't know if members realize how much of a pickle you're in with that. Is there anything more you can say regarding, it sounds like you are focused on trying to get out of the mine. Is that an accurate statement?
Yeah, we have a 3-person working group of the board of directors that are focused on the deposit issue, the MLE deposit, and we have inherited some quasi unworkable arrangements up there, and we are trying to work our way through that. We have retained significant legal services to help us with that, so this is not just 3 yokels in the neighborhood trying to figure this out. We're getting the best advice that we possibly can. There's nothing good about the position that we're in, and so we are trying to work our way out of that. And that's, it's a wholly owned for-profit subsidiary. of the co-op that owns, that deals with that. We're on the board of that subsidiary as well. So we are working our way through it. And I can't tell you anything more than that because everything is in process. We're trying to be open and constant in our communication with the affected parties. And obviously we keep Tim up to date, and he sits in on some of our meetings. And the whole board is briefed every month on where we are on the process. It's an ugly process, and it's an ugly situation. Like I said before, I wish we had never heard of manganese, and we are where we are. So I can just say, our goal was 2 years ago was to be out in a year. Our goal last year was to be out in a year. Our goal this year is to be out at some point in time.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
and thank you for your questions. And thank you for your comments to start it out. Thank you.
Patrick Litke, resident in Baxter. What is the board's opinion of sustainable energy, such as solar or wind? And second question, what is their opinion about electric cars? Is it worse for the environment because the batteries and everything that goes into manufacturing them?
Well, I'm going to let Tim speak to this as well, but from the board's perspective, we went through a lot with, we have the president or the CEO of Basin Electric come over and meet with our board directly. Basin is doing a lot of work on wind, on solar, on gas. I mean, Basin is, and reliability is our reliability and reasonable rates are our targets. Sustainability is something that's good stewardship. But with our relationship with Basin, because Basin, even though everyone says, well, Basin, they're a coal mine and they're a coal fire. It's not all that, and they're transitioning. The amount of solar or the amount of wind, particularly that they buy, that they participate in, is pretty amazing. So it's really who we buy our power from, and then also our team does a great job of, as Tim mentioned, to being friendly, and we have these conversations about what's our strategic plan about how friendly can we be for the people who want to put solar on their roof and do small scale solar. I mean, my own personal opinion is I think it's a waste of government money about the idea of doing small scale solar instead of doing utility scale solar, but that's not the decision I get to make. So we will participate every way we can to allow our and again, with our strategic plan, we're going to talk about this. What do we need to do to encourage and to support our members who that is their goal in a reasonable and financially responsible way?
Yeah, just if I could add to that too. When you look forward and you look at our industry, it's pretty clear that the demand for electricity is going to continue to increase, right? Maybe electric vehicles are part of that. Data centers coming online that use a tremendous amount of electricity. And so that's the demand is going up, right? And so from a supply standpoint, the big issue in the industry is, are we going to have enough electricity? And so for co-ops for a long, long time, we've had an idea and a strategy and a process to we want this all of the above strategy. We see room for some coal. We see room for some natural gas. We see room for solar. We see room for wind, hydro, etc. We need all of those supply options as we go forward to be diverse and not tied to one or two things. So from a supply standpoint, yeah, renewables are a big part of it. As I showed earlier, my goodness, the leadership that Basin has shown, now they're going to get this over $600 million to do more renewables. To the extent we can continue to work with members locally on solar, we can. Those are very small units. Specific question to electric vehicles. I'm no electric vehicle expert, but read a lot about it. I mean, there's a little bit of, maybe a debate about it in the long run, how environmentally friendly they are. I think generally it's a yes. But wow, I've personally tried to pursue an electric vehicle, and I just haven't gotten there yet for various reasons in terms of our climate and whatnot. So, but clearly they're going to probably continue to grow. There's changes going on right now, or potential changes coming in terms of, you know, the tax incentives and things like that for renewables and electric vehicles. So that's kind of a big part of what makes those attractive, if you will. So, yeah, our industry is just going through so much. But I hope we all recognize, like I said earlier, in this climate, reliability is king. And from a supply standpoint, to me, it's very encouraging to see some of these power plants that were on the chopping block not that long ago, including nuclear. There's a couple nuclear plants that are going to be coming back online. I think that's a good move, again, from a supply standpoint, because we need the supply for electric vehicles and everything that's coming at us. So it's a real challenge. Yeah. Does that answer your question? Okay.
Anybody else? All right. Next slide. Oh, thank you, Jenna. Oh, thank you. So, are you going to? Yeah, all right. So, any old business is the next point of order, and I do not believe we have any old business. And any new business before the co-op? I don't believe we have any new business. So with that, I think we're going to adjourn the meeting, and we're going to then do some prize drawings. All right.
You guys want to do the...
We'll let the new guy make friends by picking the winners.
Let's make it a little loud. So we're just going to do some prize drawings. Remember, if you must be go ahead. Present to win. If the member isn't here, we'll just redraw. If you receive a bill credit, please see me after so I can just get all your contact information to make sure that we get those credits. So for the Ryobi 1 18-volt 2 tool combo kit.
Ready?
Yeah.
Lyle Amundsen. Is Lyle here?
He was here. Did he leave?
Oh.
Are you sure? Okay.
All right. Bill Hollenkamp.
Woohoo.
Hey, we got a winner.
Yeah. Okay, for one of the Hampton-based solar pathway lights, Gene Retka. He's here. He is a co-op champion. Grab it.
Jan.
Leotold. Woohoo.
Woo. All right.
So solar lights are in the back, and now we'll draw for five $25 bill credits.
The unique fold on this one worked. All right. Joni
Kayward
Brooks.
Perfect. So see me after, please.
Lois Ebertrowski.
Ebertrowski.
Yeah.
Were we close?
All right. Karen Schutte.
Perfect.
All right. Diane Schlichting. Diane here?
Woohoo.
There she is.
Rod Horner.
Rod Horner?
Woohoo.
Right. Okay.
Awesome. So again, thank you all for being here today, and most importantly, thank you for being a valued part of your Crowing Power. If you received a tree or got a slip for a tree, our great staff will be helping you with trees out to your car. Drive safe, and thank you for coming.
Good job.